What up, the brethren? Back with some more fun, some deadlifts, obviously. So I wanted to go as heavy as I could that day at the gym. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way, so let me just explain what I did. Right there is the number one thing I wanted to point out. Is leaning back and making sure that your entire weight is behind the bar, not over the bar. So a quick way to make sure that I'm doing that is by I grab the bar and I just kind of like let my body go back, and the bar will pick itself up. Like, it's 135, so it's not a lot of weight. So obviously my body, since I weigh more than that, as soon as I start leaning back, it'll go up by like on its own. And that's one thing that has to be established before executing or leg pressing the weight off the floor first. And in a way, it's a little counterproductive to warm up with a bar alone because of this, because the body needs a certain way to first establish an equilibrium before picking up the weight. And some lifters say warm up with a bar. I used to do that. I mean, it just depends. It's a personal preference, to be honest. But like for Romanian deadlifts, I warm up with a bar alone, because I don't necessarily have to involve too much strength in those, because I never really go that heavy on Romanian deadlifts anyway. And also I'm only explosive when I need to be, whenever I'm deadlifting that cloud of chalk though. Anyway, when I need to be, several people, when they deadlift, they really thrust their hips in, and some even like lean back, some more than others. I can't do that. I try to be explosive as I could before. I think it was with like 225. I was warming up and I was thrusting my hips as far in as I could, and I felt a little pinch. So it's not for everyone. As long as you lock it out, in my opinion, that's good enough. You don't have to lean back, because 1 or 2 inches, that's fine. But obviously when you get to higher weight, don't do that. Just don't do that. Don't go to Snap City. It's not a pleasant city to be in, trust me. So that's what I do. But I do want to be as explosive as I can, because I pretend that as soon as I start deadlifting 135, I pretend that I'm already deadlifting 4 or 5 or 5 plates. So just to get my mind used to that, used to what I'm gonna do or what's approaching in that session. And unfortunately, here's a little something. I'll explain after that.
30-second rest. Let's see if I can do this. It's cardio. That's what I do for cardio, man. Stay away from the treadmills.
Stay away from the treadmills. That's the advice that Milo has to give. Yeah, so 405, it didn't fly up as fast as I wanted to, the single rep. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep repping this way. So I decided to do a 5x5 30-second rest. I mean, I do that if my body's telling me not to go heavier, I won't go heavier, man. It's my body, my mind. It gets your mind gets tired. At that point, if you want to disobey your mind after that, in my opinion, most of the time it's gonna be a complete waste of time. Like, you're gonna be involving muscle groups that you shouldn't be, especially if you're isolating. You might snap something, you might hurt something, you might strain something, a muscle. So especially when it comes to heavier lifts, don't risk it. There's absolutely no need to risk any type of injury. I don't compete, but I mean, who wants to get hurt? No one. So yeah, that's why I did this 5x5 instead, just a way that I can really control. Man, I was dying. I did not think I was actually gonna do this, because I was a little tired because of the lifts before that, and man, I need to run, man. And ironically, I just said stay away from the treadmills. That's 3 sets. I didn't have a timer. I was just going off a mental countdown. But when I was editing this video, I actually timed myself. I timed the rests, and it was exactly 30 seconds. So I felt pretty good about that. I was like, man, I can't disappoint the hoodie that I'm wearing. Fuck that. Actually, that was a gift. One of my friends, Gabby. So shout out to her. It's freaking awesome, man. So yeah, I thought it was fitting to use that this hoodie during the deadlift, my deadlift session. This routine, I kind of got it from, it was a while back that I tried a 10x10 on deadlifts with 315. Man, if you never tried a 10x10 on any of the big three, do it. That is an entire workout on its own. That's all you need. It's probably like 45 minutes to an hour, just depending, or maybe less than that. But damn, it hurts. If you're doing it right with the right percentage of your max, by your 6th, 7th set, you're wishing you're dead, man, for real. And if you finish it, your 10th set, you're gonna feel like the king of the world. Trust me. But this is more like, obviously I went heavier with 4 or 5, but I did a 5x5. This is actually this is the first time I ever tried this with the 5x5, but hey, I did it.
Alright, it's time to eat some pizza.
I was just kidding about the pizza part. It's just things that your mind says when you're done lifting all that shit. Don't pay attention to that. But that's another video. Like, honestly, you can eat whatever you want and still go according to your goals. If you're competing, that's a different story. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. So follow up. These are some light deficits. I've done this. I think I've recorded this before. And whenever I say isolating while actually doing a compound exercise, it may sound like it probably doesn't make sense when I say it. But the deadlift is composed of two main movements. It's the bottom half and the upper half. The hams, the glutes, the legs, and the lower back to just keep everything straight. And then the upper half is all lower back, upper half, the core, everything. Well, the core is since the start, but this is the only reason why I do these things. So obviously I'm standing on the 35 plate to make it a little heavier. I go a little lower and make it harder, even though it's just 135. So right there I'm actually gonna go very slow, just to feel every single fiber activate as soon as the weight lifts off the floor. That's why I'm going so slow. As if yeah, you can go fast, it's 135, but the whole point is to not let other muscle fibers go into effect, if that makes any sense. But maybe it's just something mental that I do, just to teach the mind to activate only those muscle groups during that portion or part of the deadlift. But hey, whatever gets you stronger, right? And then to finish off my routine, I did some T-bar rows. And not much to explain here, really. I mean, this is one of the most old school exercises that you can do to just build a bigger lower back, upper back, keep your, strengthen your core. But yeah, I mean, it's just another way to strengthen my overall, my lower back especially. So to be able to withstand heavier loads when executing any of the big three. And yes, it will help you with the bench, it'll help you with the squat, and it'll help you obviously with the deadlift. But anyway, seeing as how this is a boring part of the video, or rather I kind of ran out of things to say about this exercise, I'm gonna move on to something that I point out later on in the video, which by the way is the longest one I've done, but you'll see why. I was asked to explain what the difference between powerlifting and bodybuilding is. And man, I'm sorry to disappoint, but I honestly don't think I have the years to back that up to be able to even start answering that question. But I mean, hey, I'll try my best. I have about 8-9 years on me. I mean, 4 of which I was actually serious. So hopefully, my answer will suffice. But I mean, I'll try it. I mean, what I can say is, powerlifting is mainly used to pick up the maximum amount of weight as possible. You know, activating pretty much most, if not all, your muscle groups to just maximize that lift, to maximize the stress on your muscles. Whereas bodybuilding, it's to train your body to withstand time under tension as much as possible to be able to grow bigger. You know, both get you strength, yes. Does powerlifting get you as big as bodybuilding? Probably not. And well, honestly, I'd like to say it doesn't. You know, there are even grounds that you can find, which is pretty much the even grounds that I'm, you know, on right now, that I'm trying to be on, and that's known as, you know, power building. And that's best of both worlds. But I'm gonna say a little something here. So.
Okay, so that was all kinds of ego. But I already did my nice and controlled workouts before this one. I just want to eliminate all muscle tissue as possible. But it's something new that I'm trying. Can we lower the volume? Got it. Right, so it's something new-ish that I'm trying as a from a power builder, powerlifting routine. Some momentum is allowed, and this comes from the guys that lift over 1,000 fucking pounds. So it's a completely different world. Bodybuilding, power building, and powerlifting. Of course, I'm not the first motherfucker to say that, but I'm kind of justifying all this fucked up shit I'm doing right now. An Arab will be describing or showing the bodybuilding part again. Yeah.
I lost my train of thought there. Completely lost it. But hey, I know I make it seem like I'm just into powerlifting, you know, talking, you know, shit about power building. No, and that's not the case. I love the bodybuilding side of training. I love how it feels when it burns and you contract as much as possible. But here, Arab is gonna say something real quick. Hold on.
Alright, I don't have the best form, but something important is just keep your core tight, shoulder blades tight. That's how I messed up my clavicle in the first place, so just keep everything tight. That's the important part.
And there you go, the man said it himself. Keep everything tight, keep your scapular region tight, because otherwise that could lead to injury. And unfortunately, well, I want to say there's a good thing, or sometimes that's what it takes to really go back to your roots. And sometimes that's what it takes, an injury, for you to go back to your roots and start lifting at a lighter weight. You know, that's what happened to me when I messed up my shoulder. I could only bench the bar, but my goal was 315, and I went all the way back down to just the bar, and I started adding tens, like 10 pounds per week, 10 pounds per week. Even though I could do more reps, I stopped myself, and what ended up happening, I maxed out 315 about like 2 months later. So don't get to the point where you have to injure yourself to not think like an ego lifter and go back to your roots. Don't let that happen. So alright, so that's pretty much all I had. Make sure to subscribe, and any suggestions that you all may have for my next videos, or something you want me to talk about, let me know. Deuces.
Why did you change the music? You changed it at the wrong time.
They fucked it up for you, man.
I told them to change it 20 minutes ago. It's a good jam. Like,